Duluth Mayor lays out her plans for the financial future of the city, the shortfall they're facing.
Plus, school concerns as leaders scramble to create return-to-learn plans. One group isn't happy with what Duluth has done.
And later, a project unlike any other. We introduce you to an Iron Range musician who's used the pandemic to create something totally unique.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. After nearly a year of instability due to COVID-19, we now have a better understanding of the impact the pandemic has had on Duluth's financial future.
Mayor Emily Larson presented her 2021 budget proposal to the City Council tonight, outlining where we are sitting at the end of 2020 and what we can expect going into the next year. CBS 3's Natalie Grant is breaking down the numbers you're going to want to know.
An optimistic outlook from Duluth's mayor Thursday night as she presented the city's budget for 2021.
Given the state of 2020, of all the things that I expected this year, the optimistic and stable budget I am here to present was not one of them.
The city's 2020 deficit has shrunk from a $25 million hole to a roughly $12 million shortfall. Larson says that they also eliminated the $4 million deficit in the city's general fund.
We've gotten, as a city, an extraordinary amount accomplished under very extenuating circumstances.
Looking ahead to 2021, Larson said the city will enter this year with a projected $4.7 million deficit.
In this budget, we isolate our financial risks, we benefit from our sensible fiscal management of the past 4 years, and we recognize the many sacrifices our staff and municipal residents are making every single day.
Sacrifices like pay cuts and no salary increases to city workers. She added the city could see a $2.5 million revenue shortfall due to a loss in collection of taxes and fees because of the pandemic. And while starting with a deficit, Mayor Larson says the financial future looks bright enough to consider reducing property taxes.
We have built a City of Duluth financial structure strong enough to survive a global pandemic.
With nearly $5 million in the city's rainy day fund, there's wiggle room in the books as we move closer to 2021.
Mayor Larson went on to say the city has brought back a majority of its staff that had been laid off due to the pandemic. The City Council will be voting on the mayor's projected budget in the coming weeks. If you'd like to watch the whole presentation, we have a link on our website.
All right, let's get a look at the weather now with Dave. Dave, much like this morning, chilly start, now chilly end to the day.
Yeah, and a good chilly start come tomorrow.
Okay.
One more time we go. Third go around with freeze advisories and frost warnings and all of that hullabaloo. And this morning, yeah, we sure earned the right to talk about frost on the pumpkin and the windshield. Hibbing 27, Silver Bay 27, and 28 degrees for our friends in Ironwood. Low 30s for many other towns here. And Watersmeet, which was on the warmer side yesterday, this morning was brisk. Well, like I mentioned, another round of briskness is coming in tonight as that cold high pressure from the north completely takes over the region. So we have freeze and frost alerts for Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Upper Peninsula. But it'll be dry on Friday, and sunshine in the afternoon will let temperatures rebound. Our Friday day planner says expect to start near 32 for a lot of places, but finish around 65 with sunshine. Short-lived sunshine because by Saturday we get our next rain chance, but after that, a dry period and a warmer period coming our way. Will we dare thrust ourselves into the 70s? I'll let you know in just a bit.
Thanks, Dave. Just 2 days into the school year, parents are raising concerns with the Duluth School District's learning plan. The group is called Kids First 709. It's made up of around 600 parents who are asking for changes to the current learning model during the pandemic. Right now, middle and high schoolers are learning entirely online, with elementary students learning in a hybrid model. But the Kids First 709 group is asking for hybrid learning for all Duluth students. They also want details on how students will be graded this year and at least 18 hours of instruction per week. One of the members, Stacy Demberio, claims the district is not following the governor's guidelines. She wants the school to give each student a choice of how they want to learn.
Certainly, we're not a group that's saying everybody needs to be in school. That's not our purpose. Everybody needs to have an education that they feel safe with, whether that's in school or online, if it follows the governor's plan.
Meanwhile, Duluth Superintendent John Magus says his main goal is for every student to learn in person, but he says there were many factors that went into the decision.
COVID numbers when the date came to make the call, we're going nearly straight up especially for our younger teens. I mean, basically our teenage population. So our hope too is to return to face-to-face instruction as soon as possible.
Magus says they are looking at the case numbers every day, but he says they will likely keep the same teaching method for at least the first quarter, so both teachers and students acclimate to that style.
The Duluth NAACP continues working to help people stay safe during the pandemic. This evening, they hosted a mask giveaway to people in need. It's their 21st distribution this year. Their goal is to mitigate the risk of COVID-19 for Black, Indigenous, and people of color in the community. They hand the masks out for free to anyone, regardless of race, prioritizing locations where there are large minority populations. They also hand out voter and census information with the masks. Organizers say it's all in an effort to help the community. They have handed out more than 10,000 masks since April.
Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, we introduce you to Carl Sundquist. The Iron Ranger has wrote and played music for much of his life, but he spent the pandemic doing something he's never done before. We have the details coming up.
85 for the record high from 1908 is something we haven't done since then. Could we do it tomorrow? No, frankly not. We'll get closer to normal, though. After a high of 62 today, we could step a little bit closer to the normal of 67. I'll talk about sunshine for Friday and rain for Saturday, too, coming up after the break.
Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS 3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS 3.
Shopping for a new kitchen at Skips has never been better. Take home your dream kitchen today with Skips' new Glenwood and white cabinets. Enjoy freedom and flexibility with your own movable island today. You can rely on Skips for quality and durability at affordable prices. Stop by with your measurements and see how you can take home beautifully painted or stained cabinets today at a truly affordable price. Visit us online at skipshomecenter.com. or stop in to see our showroom at 4728 Rice Lake Road, Duluth.
Mediacom's fiber-powered broadband network was built for the future, and it's in your community. Delivering gigabit speeds to every home and business we serve. We'll be one of the first in the nation to take you to 10G, making your community one of the fastest in the world. The foundation is in place, and Mediacom will be making way for brilliant possibilities, igniting economic development and lighting up communities nationwide.
Front loader odor. You know that smell when you open your funky front load washer? But at GE Appliances, we've engineered the first and only front load with an ultra fresh vent system with odor block. Go from funky to fresh so you can
Shut the front door.
No one says that.
Another way we make good things. For life. Shop the Labor Day sales event and save up to 30% on select GE appliances now through September 16th. Johnson Mertz. It's a trusted name.
The chief actuary of the Social Security Administration just released an analysis of Trump's planned cuts to Social Security. Under Trump's plan, Social Security would become permanently depleted by the middle of calendar year 2023. If Trump gets his way, Social Security benefits will run out in just 3 years from now. Don't let it happen. Joe Biden will protect Social Security.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
So, you made it all the way up to the North Pole?
Yep, and the South. But I need good Medicare coverage so I can keep exploring.
Well, we have a range of Medicare Advantage plans, some including dental, vision, prescription, and travel benefits.
Can I find them online?
Yeah, absolutely. Or you can give us a call.
Sounds good.
Well, our stop is just up ahead.
So that was the shortest ride I think I've ever been on.
Yeah, quarantine legs. Gotta work those muscles back up.
CBS 3 Weather is brought to you by Lulich Implement. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Cold again. One more night of the cold. Hottest summer, well, second hottest summer in history, within a week devolves into freeze warnings and frost advisories. 3 days worth. This time, I hope I'm not lying. Yes, this time I hope this is the last one for a while. But No matter how we slice it, still looking at a freeze warning for much of Minnesota and just about all of northern Wisconsin through tomorrow morning, and a frost advisory bringing the rest of the region. If your garden is still hanging on, hopefully it'll get through this latest round, and then a bit of a warm-up indeed should be with us for next week. And with maybe 2 chances of rain in the next 7, it looks like it'll be a fairly dry period as well. What's going on right now? Well, it's fairly dry around the region indeed, thanks to high pressure taking over and clearing out the sky. Airport temperature in Duluth, 48 degrees, 71% is the relative humidity, and the westerly wind, it's going 6 miles per hour. Air pressure still pretty high from the high. It's at 30.39 inches of mercury. Temperature-wise, we're starting to dip again down into the 30s already for Waters Meet, teetering on the verge of 40s there in Ironwood, 41 from Ashland to Hayward, down to 37 at Solon Springs Airport, 46 at Bong Airport in Superior, 41 towards Moose Lake, mid-40s around Two Harbors, dipping into the 30s by Silver Bay, but still holding on to mid-40s on the Vermilion Range, and anywhere from upper 30s to upper 40s for the Mesabi, still 50 International Falls. So for a change, the icebox will not be the coldest place tomorrow morning. Still a frost advisory there, but it's here around the head of the lakes where we'll have the heart of the cold, and we do have that freeze warning going on. Doppler map right now, because of the high pressure in place, boy, there's hardly a cloud in the sky. We see a little bit skirting through Ontario, a little bit's trying to push through towards the Twin Cities and into central Wisconsin, but otherwise high and dry, and that's the way it should stay tomorrow, at least during the daylight hours. Just shortly after midnight, this low finally makes its way into our region, increases the clouds, gives us at least an 80% chance for a quarter to a half inch of rain on Saturday. Hit us hard, hit us fast, get out of here, because by Sunday, fresh high comes in, makes us dry once again. A dry spell that'll last a while. I'll show you how long here now with the 7-day forecast. Tonight in Minnesota, look for your lows to get into the 30s, if not the 20s, especially inland, clear and cool. Wisconsin and Michigan, probably low to mid-30s there, clear and cool as well. Calm wind, that aids and abets the frost. But tomorrow in the afternoon, clear to partly cloudy sky for Wisconsin and the UP with highs in the mid to upper 60s. Minnesota inland gets mid-60s, lower 60s by the lake. Clear to partly cloudy sky, a slight warm-up thanks to a southerly wind, which helps bring in that low and the clouds and the 80% chance of rain on Saturday. In turn, those factors take our temp down briefly for a day, but then we clear up and we warm up again from Sunday through Wednesday. And again, the best day of the bunch, the biggest pumpkin in the garden, hits us on Tuesday, 75 degrees with sunshine.
Looks beautiful. Thanks, Dave. Well, you may recognize his sound from his time spent with Big Waves and Bonfires for Horace Johnson, or even one of his very first bands born out of his days at Virginia's middle school. But you've never heard Carl Sundquist quite like this.
The Iron Ranger, who's wrote and played music for much of his life, spent the pandemic doing something he's never done before. And as our Briggs LaSavage found out, it was a passion project unlike any other.
A quiet afternoon on the river sets the pace for a slow afternoon just outside of Cook. But within the walls of this family farm,
got into music kind of at an early age.
Carl Sundquist sets his own tempo.
I've had this one probably about 6 years.
His hands are familiar with that old guitar.
And so I take it to fires, I take it anywhere.
Less so with the notes he's strumming.
Standing on the branch, mile road tree. Bring me back to the moment where I should be.
Their lyrics Carl penned himself.
So, you know, constantly when you get on the writing bug, you know, with this album, it just didn't quit.
When the world slowed down this year.
Just do a small little album, and came up here and we started experimenting, and then COVID hit.
Inspiration for his first solo album,
Carl Sundquist, just on an album, kind of really looks weird.
Found in the Iron Range's beauty.
Having the ability to go to the family farm that we have, which is on the Little Fork River, and draw from that, draw from the water, draw from walking in the trees.
And a darker time.
I've been in recovery from alcohol for 4.5 years.
Now left behind.
So I struggled alone for, 2 years until I finally surrendered and said, listen, I need help.
Help he's now sharing with others.
using kind of some of the messages and things I've learned through my recovery and stories that I wanted to tell through music. The album kind of goes all over the place with people, you know, still in the struggling to the point of people in recovery. I have a song on there called Paper Boats, and it's about things that are bothering you, things that you've kept down, and releasing those. And that goes to anybody. But somebody that's in recovery would listen to that and know that as part of your recovery, you need to get that stuff out.
So inside a home recording studio in Babbitt, Sundquist brought those messages to life.
So I would come up here every Wednesday afternoon and we'd create.
With help from friends.
Let's start back here. Okay. This is my favorite room in the whole place. So.
Like fellow Iron Range musician Christopher David Hansen.
I have known Christopher David Hansen for years and just admired his music. I mean, he's just awesome. Unbelievable singer and songwriter.
Oh, woo! All right.
To open up his home and to make a studio here, it's so homey and it's just comfortable. And with his energy and his love towards music and recording and making sure, you know, you're happy with it, and but still putting in his ideas is awesome.
Hansen shows up all over Sundquist's album, a testament to the region's music scene that's much more about collaboration than competition.
It's just such a great feeling to be able to call somebody and say, hey, we hear this kind of on this song, and could you come in and, you know, and do it? And they'll drop everything, you know, and it's not like they're asking for money or anything. They just want to play. They just want to, you know, put something on the album, be heard, be creative.
This is where when my buddies come from out of town or down in the cities, I make them sleep in here, and I'm just like, don't touch my stuff.
Sundquist teamed up with a number of other local artists on the album, but perhaps none as sweet as these.
My daughter, Mady, who does some art on the album, and Miko's on the album. I'd say I'm his sidekick. And he's come to the studio with me, he writes with me.
Now, with this album under his belt, Sundquist is riding out the final days of summer back at the family farm.
One time, come on.
Where he and his son Miko are looking forward to another very special project.
Lay my head on the coconut tree with a...
We had a song I wrote with Miko called Coconut Tree. We've never recorded the song Coconut Tree, and I'm waiting because he and I are going to do it together at some point.
But that's all around the bend.
Put my toes in the sand for the way.
Giving Carl a chance to cherish these moments
Spend my day
and continue reflecting on the past.
I think my own recovery, it not only helped me, obviously, in my alcoholism, but it made me a better prosecutor. It made me a better musician. It made me a better father. It made me a better husband. I still am learning all the time about recovery.
Sweet.
As you heard there, yes, Carl is also a prosecutor with the St. Louis County Attorney's Office. He told us his journey to overcoming addiction has helped him connect with many of his clients to understand their full story and how best to help them. In that role, Carl also sits on the Range Treatment Court. He says building relationships with people going through the program has helped influence not only his daily life, but his music too. By the way, Carl's album called Goodnight Sun is now available on Apple Music, Spotify, and other streaming services.
Still to come on Live Local CBS 3 is the Blatnick Bridge, part of your daily commute. Learn how in the next few years that could change, coming up next.
CBS 3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Honey, what are you doing?
Carpet's getting a little long. Tripping hazard.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Run!
Who wants a brat?
Honey, just get in already.
It's okay to be a little overprotective.
Seriously?
After all, it's how we feel about our customers. Western National Insurance.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, radiation oncologist Ken Dornfeld explains how technology called the CyberKnife helps Essentia Health more effectively treat certain kinds of cancer.
The main use for this machine is to deliver radiation treatments to small targets. And its advantages compared to conventional machines is that we're able to focus very crisply and accurately. That robotic arm allows us to deliver radiation from multiple dozens, really, of different angles and directions. That way we can direct small amounts of radiation through tissue in a way that's not harmful or damaging for normal tissue, but focus the radiation at its greatest intensity where the cancer is. There is less collateral damage. This tool is able to really, in some ways, bend light or deliver radiation in a way that curves around normal tissues.
The CyberKnife is especially adept at treating lung cancer, a disease that Essentia approaches with a comprehensive program.
So at Essentia, we've worked very hard to develop ways of decreasing lung cancer mortality. I look at this as a very sophisticated tool that's on the very front lines, or really the last step in our approach to minimizing lung cancer deaths. Our success rates, either with surgery or with this type of radiation treatment for early stage lung cancer, is in the range of 70 to 80%. And being able to deliver curative treatment successfully and safely with machines like the CyberKnife can make a large decrease or a large impact on success rates for lung cancer treatment.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medical insight.
Watch Dave, Caitlin, and Austin for local weather you can trust on CBS.
Get your new John Deere mower from Duluth Lawn and Sport, the region's largest power sports dealer.
When severe weather hits, tune to CBS3.
Tonight at 10, we'll be out here in the storm.
For up-to-date coverage morning and night.
Stay away from here.
Live local weather coverage on CBS3 Duluth. Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS3.
We got a first look tonight at plans for a major makeover of the Blotnick Bridge.
It won't be happening for another 8 years, but will severely impact travel between Duluth and Superior. CBS3's Brian Campos sat in on the virtual meeting tonight and breaks down what the Twin Ports should expect.
Minnesota and Wisconsin's transportation leaders pushed the launch button on the 2028 Blotnick Bridge project Thursday night.
Even though we're out here doing maintenance and projects every 4 years, again, you know, like your house or your car, you can't always make everything last forever.
The goal of the project is to improve safety and better accommodate oversized and overweight loads, since the Blotnick is an important freight and commercial connection for the ports.
If we didn't have two bridges and we restricted the Blotnick, these loads would have to go down, all the way down to Grantsburg to get back over to Minnesota.
But something like this takes years of planning, which is why they're starting now.
Aside from all the engineering and the bridge and the roadway and so forth, we need to look at the social, economic, and environmental impacts associated with all these options.
As for how much something like this will cost, Department of Transportation officials say they don't know.
In the relatively near future is to come up with some high-level planning costs, more in terms of a range. We just need to do that to kind of get some sort of handle on the budget, because obviously this will be likely a very expensive project.
While construction is a ways off, there is still some maintenance work to be done to decide which parts of the bridges receive the most work.
We want to be confident we know every component of the bridge and condition, and it's not all easy to get.
As for whether the bridge will be closed entirely for a time during construction and for how long, DOT leaders say they're not sure. They hope to have preliminary designs by 2024. If you'd like to provide input or learn more about the proposed bridge project, a link will be posted on our website.
Coming up in sports, how one local runner is bringing the Boston Marathon home. Kelly tells us next.
Watch Dave, Caitlin, and Austin for local weather you can trust on CBS.
When the Kubota arrives, the workday gets easier.
you better than Bullet Gentleman.
Whatever your water worry, Culligan Water can help. From value-priced softeners to the world's best and even salt-free, no one has more solutions than Culligan to customize the best filtration for your home. The only water that comes with a van. Contact Culligan, the local water experts.
Lawless criminals terrorize Minneapolis. Joe Biden takes a knee. The weak response from Biden and radicals like Ilhan Omar has led to chaos and violence. And their calls for defunding police would make it worse. President Trump is making it stop, making crucial federal resources available to protect Minnesota's families. Communities, not criminals. Jobs, not mobs. Strong leadership when America needs it most.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Uh-oh.
What?
I think I forgot to lock my Buick.
Parallel parking.
The hot yoga was so hot. Check this out. Cooling seats?
Alexa, ask Buick to start my SUV.
You can do that.
You can do that?
You can't do that.
You can with the Buick.
At the heart of every Buick SUV is you. Get great offers across the full Buick lineup, including these purchase allowance offers on most 2020 Buick luxury SUV models.
I have been working to lower prescription drug prices since my first day in the Senate. And when Congress passed into law my bill to lower the price of insulin by making generics more available, progress finally. Now I'm working on a plan to manufacture drugs in America and build a supply chain so we're not relying on other countries for the medicine we need. I'm Tina Smith, and I approve this message because I'll work with anyone and do whatever it takes to get the job done.
For months, we've all done our best to stay safe. But to remain safe in the long run, it's up to us all to take actions that don't just slow the spread of COVID, but collectively overcome it. Like getting a test if you have any symptoms, answering if your health department calls, and wearing a mask in public spaces. We all want to regain what we love in life. To get there, we all need to go forward and do our part.
Hi, I'm John with Prime Appliance, and I've purchased many grills before I got my Napoleon. Sure, they cost more, but Napoleon's known for the finest quality and the best warranties. Tired of buying grills like I was? That's why Prime Appliance is the exclusive dealer for Napoleon grills.
A lot of runners here in the Northland and beyond were disappointed they couldn't run Grandma's this year due to COVID. And one local runner named Haley Eggy qualified for the Boston Marathon during the 2019 Grandma's Marathon. And after the marathon went virtual thanks to her community in Esco, Boston is coming to her. Eggy is set to run Boston virtually from Esco this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eggy originally qualified with a 3:24:10 Grandma's finish back in 2019, an accomplishment she doesn't credit to herself and that she still remembers like it was yesterday.
Said when I hit mile 25, I knew I was going to qualify for Boston. Up until then, it was like this mental fight, like, oh, I'm qualifying. Oh my gosh, I'm slowing down, you know, and so I kept running. And a lot of my family and friends, the girls I run with, were at that ending, and I see my aunt, who was the one who brought me to my very first race at the zoo, and she was like there. She had run the half, and she's like trying to, you know, like see me, and I crossed the finish line, and there's a picture of me just praying, like, thank you, Lord, because I knew that it was him that helped me through it. And I crossed, and the lady caught me, and I'm bawling. She's like, are you okay? Do you need a medical person? I'm like, no, I'm so happy. I said I qualified. I qualified.
Eggy is set to run this Saturday at 9 a.m. with her family and loved ones, bringing the Boston Marathon to her. We'll have much more on her amazing journey on Monday for a very special edition of For the Love of the Game. You will not want to miss it. Well, just about 3 months ago, Hermantown broke ground on Corey Beach Field to replace their grass and sod with a brand new turf field. That field has since been finished, and the community now gets to reap the benefits. The first competitive varsity game at Centricity Stadium on the fresh turf. Hermantown hosting Grand Rapids in soccer, who oddly enough also have a new field this year. How about this for a first goal made possible by Cole Antcliffe? On the hustle play, chases it down and keeps the play alive, and David Rutka does the rest. A goal to remember puts Hermantown up 1-0. That's how it's sat at halftime. Grand Rapids looking for a second half response. Rise Cameron puts one on net, but Trent Merson is there to say no. Hermantown goes on to win it 4-0, the final. And Duluth Denfeld looking to bounce back at home. They host Hibbing early on in this one. The home team strikes first. Keegan Chastity, a name we've said a lot this year, with the shot, and it is deflected off Parker Chastity for the goal. Denfeld takes a 1-0 lead. They weren't finished because moments later, Keegan sets up Xavier Decker out in front and buries it. That doubles the lead. That no replay here necessary because the duo does it once again. Chastity to Decker for the score. Decker would find the back of the net 4 times. Hunters roll with the 9-0 win. And Duluth East aiming to start the season at 4-0, taking on Proctor. Both teams have pretty good chances in the first half. Here, Jackson Descombas nearly puts it in, but he's denied by the goaltender, Colin O. Then later, Henry Rigdahl off the free kick. Eventually, it's hauled in by Andrew Goman, keeping the game scoreless. Greyhounds would turn it up in the second. Kai Hoffman almost plays here, but it's a hoe once again. East would eventually get things going. They win 3-0 the final. And boys and girls cross-country action. Denfeld hosting the Denfeld Invite as they race against Hermantown and Lakeview Christian Academy. For the girls, taking home top honors was Addie Peterson of Hermantown with a time of 21 minutes, 31 seconds. Just behind her was teammate Maddie Olson with a time of 21:48. Then, for the boys, Denfeld's Isaac Fink would run away from the rest of the pack with a time of 16 minutes, 32 seconds. 4 other Hunters would join him in the top 5. That's going to do it for sports tonight. We'll be right back after the break.
CBS3 closed captioning is brought to you by Essentia Health. Have our certified nurse midwives provide personal one-on-one support and guidance for your next pregnancy. Visit essentiahealth.org to learn more.
For months, we've all done our best to stay safe. But to remain safe in the long run, it's up to us all to take actions that don't just slow the spread of COVID, but collectively overcome it. Like getting a test if you have any symptoms, answering if your health department calls, and wearing a mask in public spaces. We all want to regain what we love in life. To get there, we all need to go forward and do our part. Sponsored by Minnesota Department of Health. Aired in cooperation with the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Let's face it, it's been a tough year. But here in Minnesota, we're pretty tough too. We help each other, we work together, and we solve problems. That's what I try to do every day as your congressman. Like helping to save pensions for our union workers, standing with snowplow drivers during their strike, and fighting to lower health care costs for seniors and our most vulnerable. I'm Pete Stauber, and I approve this message because together we're fighting for our way of life.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha. The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close. Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars with laser illumination technology for just $39.99. You'll also get a protective carrying case, yours free. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling Atomic Beam flashlight, just pay separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-850-1828. That's 1-800-850-1828. Or visit ByNightHero.com. That's ByNightHero.com. Order now.
Always ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Men's wardrobe provided by Mainstream Fashions for Men, your fall fashion headquarters with new arrivals daily. Downtown Duluth.
Dave, another chilly morning.
Yeah, sure looks like one. 20s and 30s tomorrow mornings. Oof. Frost advisories and freeze warnings abound for the entire area, but knock on wood and hammer on Formica here. This should be the last one for the week ahead. We're getting a warming trend. So after a cold start, a near normal finish on Friday, then a slight step back on Saturday with a cloudy sky and an 80% chance for rain. But then we perk back up again Sunday, mid-60s sunshine, 75 in sunshine on Tuesday. perhaps one last taste of nice weather before the cool down really sets in. Of course, we could still rebound a bit through October, but I'm feeling a little bit pessimistic here tonight.
All right, thanks for joining us.
We'll see you tomorrow night.